guys, I'm Sid Patel. We're at Cannabis Drinks Expo live from South San Francisco Conference Center. I'm the CEO of Cannabis Drinks Expo and Beverage Trade Network. I have Kenny Morrison with me here. He is the founder of VCC Brands. Started with cookies and many other things they do, which we'll get into. What we really wanted to talk about is how to expand beyond your home state, right? How to find a great co-packer, how to find a good partner, be it from the packing side or be it from the sales side. What it takes to, as a brand owner, what you should do and how you can support them. So Kenny, thanks for joining me here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
So please introduce our audience on, just give us a little story about your company and what you do and where are you at?
We have licensing deals in various states, but right now, currently only 2 states are active. That's California and Massachusetts. We have a licensing deal in Florida, but Florida doesn't even allow beverages yet.
Got it.
And it's a non-exclusive licensing deal because of how the state is vertically operated.
Sure.
Vertical integration there, so we can have multiple licensing deals within that one state.
Got it.
We started making edibles in 2008. We started out with baked goods in the early days when, the baked good was kind of the primary way people took edibles. I think back then if someone said, "Oh, I had a brownie last night," you knew what they meant. Today it's, "Oh, I had a gummy last night."
Yeah.
So the industry's evolved. And then in 2010 we got into dry tea. Right, that was our first beverage, but it wasn't a ready-to-drink beverage.
Got it.
And we made our first RTD in 2012 with Cannabis Quencher.
Wow, you're an early starter in cannabis drinks, right? Were you one of the first ones?
We call ourselves the original cannabis drink in California.
Nice.
Yeah, that's sort of how we're marketing ourselves to other states and stuff. We can make that claim.
Got it. So lots of learning. I mean, you must have had in the last 10 years, especially in the category. Yeah. It's still just at the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, we're still talking. It's so new, and the potential is huge here. Why did you start? Why do you think? Why are you bullish on cannabis drinks or beverages? Let's say.
I do believe if you told people, I've seen some studies or some polls where if you ask people, "Oh, CBD, are you interested in trying CBD?" For whatever reason, a lot of people don't make the same mental association with CBD and smoking as they do with THC and smoking. And I've seen certain polls when you ask someone, "Oh, this new active ingredient CBD that's a healthful supplement, how would you like to try it?" The number one answer is beverage, right? So I think we're just so hardwired, especially here on the West Coast, to correlate THC consumption with inhalation.
Got it.
And I think it just is going to take a good amount of time for people to sort of unravel that correlation. And when you look at the beverage category, almost every beverage is functional, right? Whether it's alcohol or caffeine or energy drinks, and clearly cannabis is a functional ingredient. I'm passionate personally about beverages. I love creating my own beverages. And so I do think it's going to take a long, long time to catch on for a lot of different reasons. But, I think in the long run, which could take 10 years or more, I think people will start more readily associating cannabis consumption with drinking. And I think that's already happening in other territories. Like in Massachusetts, there's very little objections to consuming cannabis by drinking it.
Nice. Let's go on, finding co-packer. You have a track record in your home state. Let's say it's 2-3 years done. So you have some philosophies and some learnings, right? You already know what works, what not, and so on. And what kind of blueprint you would advise that you should make before approaching a co-packer so that you have all this in place?
I think in the cannabis space, you have to be willing to invent your own co-packer.
Okay.
To teach someone how to be a co-packer.
Oh, right. Okay.
Obviously, it's helpful if someone has that experience already, but that's a big limitation.
But don't you already need a packing plant before you even... Or literally you would find a partner and start a new facility. Is that what you mean?
That's what we did in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah, they had no food or beverage making experience at all.
So I'm hearing that you have this machines, let's say. You would exactly buy those machines there. So it's like exact same sort of processes.
I think even more than that, like if someone's looking to expand their brand to multiple states, something we did to make that easier is very intentionally, we've made our product as easy to produce as possible.
Okay.
And that does mean making some concessions.
Got it.
For instance, our product is still made with a preservative, right? That I never wanted to put a preservative in our beverage.
Yes.
But by having a product that doesn't require Velcorin or pasteurization, it widens the playing field.
Understood.
It makes it easier for us to penetrate new states and new territories. It makes it easier for us to consult people on how to become a boutique beverage manufacturer. And it's also the way we were forced to do it for a decade ourselves here in California.
Fair enough.
But I guess because we have a decade of experience of making them drink ourselves in California and doing it in a very mobile sort of way, a facility that can be set up practically overnight and operate.
Oh, okay.
We've sort of brought that mentality with our ability to help other people make the drinks the way that worked for us in California for almost 10 years.
How does this kind of partnerships work, right? Like if you had to really put an agreement, sort of, imagine an MOU, hey, here's what you do, here's what we do. Just give us some pointers there.
There's different ways of dividing up who does the sales and the marketing, but generally for us, I like to find people who are confident that they can do the sales themselves in their state. I think in some of these scenarios where it's hard to acquire a license and there's not a lot of options when it comes to beverages, like outside of California, you can sort of lean on your brand partner to do the sales, the distribution, and the manufacturing.
So then why would they need a brand, like if they're doing everything? What are you, you're not Budweiser, right? Where you get bringing consumers. The only thing that I see is that until you get consumers.
I completely agree with you. I think we are kind of in that lucky category of being the first edible a lot of people ever tried. Yeah,
that's good.
People have. I get emails from all over the country, people saying, "Oh, are you still making this product? Are you still making that product?" I get a lot of executives from big MSOs who say, "Your edibles were the first products I ever ate."
Nice.
You know what I mean? Or dispensary owners that say, "Your product was the first product I ever felt proud to carry in my store." So I think we're sort of lucky that we have some heritage and some legacy, and we can.
And for the guys who don't have, sort of that legacy and consumer pull, I would imagine that they would be taking care of sales, and opening of accounts, right? So it's just the production part is handled by the co-packers.
Yeah, like Casey from Wink, he has beverage experience.
Yeah.
He didn't have a brand that could kind of stand up on its own and attract people into a licensing deal. So he came up with an incredible solution, right? He's a mobile canning unit, and he can drive to their state, produce the product, solve that headache for them, and then they just need to go sell the product.
So you can drive your mobile packing of California to Oregon, for example, and pack there?
That's what Casey's doing, to my understanding. I mean, he's just changed up his operation, but he has basically a canning line on wheels.
Interesting.
So he'll drive to their facility, make the product for them, and then take off to the next state, make the product for them.
Nice.
And so Vertosa does that as well. Vertosa, with their emulsion, they have an emulsion making lab on wheels. So they come, attach themselves to your premise temporarily, make the active ingredient, and then you use it in the product.
Got it. I'm still trying to understand, the co-packer scouting, right? Like, who are these people? Like people who package beverages like Pepsi and Coke, or, alcohol people, or, or just canning lines, or how do we search? If I had to find, like, okay, let's start Oregon. It's my cannabis brand. I want to find my partner. So what are these kind of people?
There's people out there who have prior beverage experience, and at times, I won't say this is not a general rule, but at times that can end up being a detriment, because if they have a lot of experience making beverages in an environment that's a lot less complicated and frustrating than the cannabis environment, they could easily lose their patience and get frustrated. Yeah. So I almost think attitude and drive and willingness to make it happen no matter what is almost more important than experience.
Than the experience and the capacity and the size of the company.
Yeah, so there's certain people that I've met, I don't want to share my secrets, but there's certain types of people who have backgrounds to where I go, they'll get it done. I promise that guy's not going to give up, and that person will do whatever it takes.
Are there exclusivity things here? Meaning, if some co-packer is doing your products, they are not allowed to do legally. I'm saying, or it's just you and the co-packers agreement. Are they not allowed to package for other people as well?
My co-packer in Massachusetts, I'm suggesting to him a couple other brands to carry, because I think it's important that I'm not the only drink that they sell, right? I think when you can bring a portfolio, it's going to help everyone.
Got it. Yeah. What does a good meeting look like? Just we'll end there, Kenny, on just like, hey, here's what, is a good win-win deal. Let me put it this way. What do they want from you ultimately as a brand to do as well? And then what do you want out of them?
If we're talking about a licensing deal, the trade-off for me is how important is revenue to me in this state, and versus how important is it for me to set up another territory. Does my value as a brand come from the incremental revenue I'm making from a state, or does my value of a brand come from aggregating more and more territories to where my product is available? So sometimes you can charge someone a very high royalty, which makes you feel good, but if they onboard another brand that's charging them a smaller royalty, they're going to be more incentivized to sell that other product.
Understood.
So you need to make sure your partner is incentivized to sell your product. So there's different levers you can pull to make that happen.
And what are they looking for from you?
My current partner is really looking for us to do some marketing support, right? Social media, provide them with the assets they need in digital format that they can print out and use to assist them with sales. I'll be going out there soon to sort of educate their sales team on the talking points.
Understood.
And then another thing I like to do to really support our partners is bring some a PR publicity marketing component.
Like kicking off this market and so on.
Yeah, so a media push.
Fair enough. What about the financial parts, right? Like, do you support them with inventory or a partnership? Can you legally as well, like, own inventory and give them there, or part of the business?
There's workarounds. Some people take their royalty by selling packaging to the partner. Right, that's one way. We haven't explored that. There's different ways of doing it.
Got it.
There's enough attorneys that are familiar with how to make it happen everywhere.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other closing remarks, about anything, Kenny? Just on how to make a good deal and how to find a partner.
It just takes a lot of creativity and, people who are dedicated to the future of the category, and people who understand it's not likely going to blow up and be a huge moneymaker right away.
Cool.